The crystal chandelier cast golden light across the wedding reception, transforming the ballroom into something out of a dream. Olivia Parker stood near the champagne table, her emerald dress catching the light as she watched the last flute on the silver tray. Golden bubbles rose like tiny stars. She moved toward it. So did he. A tall man with dark hair and a jawline that could cut glass reached the flute first. His fingers wrapped around the stem with casual ownership. "Are you seriously taking the last glass of champagne?" He turned. One dark brow lifted, amusement flickering in striking blue eyes. "I don't see your name on it." His voice was smooth velvet over steel. Arrogance radiated from him like expensive cologne. Olivia placed a hand on her hip. "It's common decency. That was the last one. And I've been waiting here for 5 minutes while you waltzed in and snatched it." He chuckled, a sound that somehow made her irritation spike higher. "I didn't realize weddings had official champagne reservation policies." He took a deliberate sip, his eyes gleaming with mischief. "Unbelievable." Olivia crossed her arms. "Do you have a habit of stealing things that don't belong to you?" "Only when it's worth the trouble." Something about him was maddening. Yes, he was ridiculously attractive, all sharp lines and dangerous charm. But his arrogance was suffocating. "Enjoy your champagne." She turned away before she could say something she'd regret. "Wait." She stopped. When she turned back, he was holding out the glass. "Take it." Olivia hesitated, suspicious. Why the sudden generosity? He shrugged. "You fought for it. You deserve the victory." Rolling her eyes, she took the flute. Their fingers brushed. A strange spark zipped up her arm, but she ignored it, maintaining eye contact as she sipped. "Glad you finally learned some manners." He chuckled again, shaking his head. "You're something else. And you're insufferable." "I get that a lot." He extended a hand. "Since we've already fought over alcohol, we might as well introduce ourselves. I'm Daniel." She shook his hand briefly, trying not to notice how firm and warm his grip was. "Olivia." His gaze flickered over her as if memorizing her face. "Are you with the bride or the groom?" "Bride. My best friend, Lily." She felt herself relax slightly. "You?" He hesitated for half a second. "Groom." She narrowed her eyes. "You don't sound sure about that." A lazy grin spread across his face. "Maybe I just like keeping people guessing." "Of course you do." The music changed. The bride and groom took the dance floor for their first dance. Guests turned to watch, the romantic atmosphere thickening the air. Olivia felt warmth bloom in her chest for Lily, so happy and in love. Daniel stood beside her, watching the couple with an unreadable expression. "Do you believe in love like that?" he asked suddenly. She blinked, caught off guard. "Like what?" "Like the kind where nothing else matters. Where someone chooses you no matter what." Olivia hesitated. "I want to believe in it." He tilted his head, studying her. "But? People have a habit of letting you down." Something unreadable flashed across his face. Before she could decipher it, an older woman approached, her designer gown dripping with diamonds. "Daniel, darling, I've been looking for you." The woman wrapped her arms around him with practiced elegance. "Mom," Daniel said, returning the hug. Olivia's stomach twisted. His mother looked like royalty. Then it clicked. The way he carried himself, the effortless confidence. The air of power. Daniel Sterling. Billionaire Daniel Sterling. Her heart nearly stopped. She had just spent the last 15 minutes arguing with one of the wealthiest, most powerful men in the country. And he had been amused by it. Daniel turned back to her, smirking slightly. "Something wrong, Olivia?" She composed herself quickly, forcing a smile. Not at all. But as she took another sip of champagne, she had the sinking feeling that she had just stepped into something far more complicated than a simple wedding. His mother, Eleanor Sterling, placed an elegant hand on his arm. "You should introduce me to your friend. Olivia Parker," she said politely, extending her hand. Eleanor accepted it with grace. "Lovely to meet you, my dear. How do you know my son?" Olivia hesitated. She had met him less than 20 minutes ago over stolen champagne. Daniel interjected smoothly. "We were just having a discussion about whether I have terrible manners." Eleanor's lips twitched. "Were you now? And what was the verdict?" Olivia met Daniel's gaze, then smiled. Still under deliberation. His mother laughed. "Well, I do hope you'll be kind in your ruling." Daniel leaned in, lowering his voice just for Olivia. "I wouldn't count on it." The warmth in his tone sent a strange flutter through her chest. A voice called Eleanor's name. She excused herself gracefully. Olivia exhaled. That was unexpected. Daniel studied her. "You're not the type to be impressed by wealth, are you?" She raised an eyebrow. "Should I be? Most people are." "I'm not most people." His expression shifted, as if he liked her answer. "I'm beginning to see that." The music changed again. Couples moved toward the floor. Olivia suddenly realized how close they were standing. Before she could step back, he extended a hand. "Dance with me." "What?" "You heard me." His voice was smooth, confident. "One dance." She hesitated. Something about the way he looked at her made it impossible to refuse. Finally, she placed her hand in his. They moved into position. His hand settled at her waist, firm but respectful. Their fingers intertwined. Olivia felt the warmth of his touch through the fabric of her dress. "You seem tense," he noted. "I don't usually dance with billionaires." He smirked. "I don't usually steal champagne from intriguing women, so I suppose we're both in unfamiliar territory." She rolled her eyes, but a smile threatened to break through. "Is that what I am? Intriguing?" "Undeniably." Her heart did something traitorous. They moved in perfect sync, and she decided to shift the conversation. "Why did you hesitate earlier when I asked if you were with the groom's side?" His grip on her hand tightened slightly before relaxing. "Because I don't know if I really belong here." "What do you mean?" He exhaled, his gaze flickering toward the happy couple. "James, the groom, is an old friend. But our lives took very different paths." "Different how?" Daniel's jaw tightened. He stayed honest. "I didn't." Before Olivia could respond, a woman's voice cut through the music like a knife. "Daniel Sterling. I didn't expect to see you here." They both turned. A stunning redhead stood at the edge of the dance floor, her emerald dress clinging to her curves. Her smile was sharp, predatory. Daniel's entire body went rigid. "Victoria," he said, his voice flat. The woman's eyes slid to Olivia, assessing, dismissing. "And who is this? Your latest distraction?" Olivia felt Daniel's hand tighten around hers, almost painfully. "Leave, Victoria," he said quietly, dangerously. Victoria laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "Still running from the truth, I see." She leaned in closer. "Does she know what you did? Does she know why you really can't stay away?" Daniel's face went pale. Victoria's smile widened. "I didn't think so." She turned and disappeared into the crowd, leaving a suffocating silence in her wake. Olivia pulled back slightly, studying Daniel's face. The arrogance was gone, replaced by something raw and haunted. "Daniel, what was she talking about?" He released her hand, stepping back. His expression closed off, a wall slamming down between them. Nothing. She's just trying to cause trouble. But Olivia could see it in his eyes. Victoria wasn't lying. And whatever Daniel was hiding, it was eating him alive. Olivia found Daniel on the terrace 20 minutes later. He stood at the railing, his broad shoulders tense, staring out at the city lights that glittered like fallen stars. She approached slowly, her heels clicking against stone. "You disappeared." He didn't turn. "I'm good at that." The night air was cool, carrying the scent of jasmine and expensive perfume from the wedding inside. Music drifted through the glass doors, muffled and distant. "Who was she?" Olivia asked, moving to stand beside him. Daniel's jaw clenched. "Someone I used to know." That's not an answer. He finally looked at her, and the raw pain in his eyes stole her breath. "Victoria was my fiancée. 3 years ago." The words hung between them like shattered glass. "What happened?" Daniel laughed bitterly. "I destroyed her life. That's what happened." Olivia stayed quiet, waiting. He exhaled slowly, gripping the railing until his knuckles went white. "I was building my empire, making deals, stepping on anyone who got in my way. Victoria worked for a rival company. We fell in love. Or I thought we did. Then I found out her company was planning a hostile takeover of mine." "So you stopped it," Olivia said softly. "I didn't just stop it. I burned her entire company to the ground. Bankrupted them. Destroyed her father's legacy, her career, everything she cared about. All to protect what was mine." Olivia felt her chest tighten. "Did she know you would do it?" "She begged me not to." Daniel's voice cracked. "She said we could find another way. But I didn't listen. I chose power over her." The silence stretched between them, heavy with ghosts. "That's why you hesitated about belonging here," Olivia said quietly. "Because James, the groom, he represents the person you used to be. Before you became this." Daniel turned to her fully, surprise flickering across his features. "How did you know?" "Because I recognized that look." Her voice was barely a whisper. "The one that says you hate who you've become, but don't know how to go back." He studied her face, something shifting in his expression. "What happened to you?" Olivia looked away, her fingers tracing the cold metal railing. "I was engaged once. To a man named Marcus. He was kind, gentle, everything I thought I wanted. But I was broken." Her voice trembled. "My father walked out when I was 12. No explanation, no goodbye. Just gone. And it made me believe that everyone leaves eventually. So I pushed Marcus away, piece by piece, until he had no choice but to go." "Did you love him?" "I don't know." Tears pricked her eyes. "I don't know if I even know what love is anymore. All I know is how to protect myself." Daniel reached out, his hand hovering near hers on the railing. Not touching, but close enough that she could feel his warmth. "Maybe we're both just good at destroying things," he said quietly. She looked at him, at the pain etched into every line of his face, and felt something crack open inside her chest. "Maybe," she whispered. "Or maybe we're just scared." His fingers finally brushed against hers, tentative, questioning. The terrace door burst open. James, the groom, stumbled out, his face flushed with alcohol and anger. "Daniel. I need to talk to you. Now." Daniel dropped his hand, stepping away from Olivia. "James, this isn't the time." "It's never the time with you, is it?" James's voice was sharp. "Always hiding. Always running from the truth. You're drunk. Go back to your bride. Don't tell me what to do." James moved closer, swaying slightly. "You know what your problem is, Daniel? You think your money makes you untouchable. You think you can ruin people's lives and just walk away. Daniel's expression hardened. Careful, James. Or what? You'll destroy me too? James laughed bitterly. You already tried. 5 years ago. When you sabotaged my business deal. The one that would have saved my father's company. Olivia's blood went cold. Daniel's face drained of color. James, I didn't know it was your father's company. I swear I didn't know. Liar. James's hands clenched into fists. You knew exactly what you were doing. You always do. And my father died 6 months later, broken and bankrupt, because of you. The words hit like physical blows. That's why you invited me, Daniel said, his voice hollow. To punish me. I invited you because Lily insisted. James's eyes were hard. She thought you deserved a chance at redemption. But I know better. Men like you don't change. You just find new people to destroy. He turned and walked back inside, leaving destruction in his wake. Olivia stared at Daniel, her mind reeling. Is it true? Did you do that? I didn't know it was his father's company, Daniel said, but his voice lacked conviction. I was making a deal, eliminating competition. I didn't ask questions. Because you didn't care. He flinched as if she'd struck him. No. Because I was a coward. Inside the ballroom, voices rose. Olivia heard Lily's voice, confused and hurt. Then James, loud and angry. The wedding was falling apart. I have to go, Olivia said, moving toward the door. Daniel caught her wrist, gentle but desperate. Olivia, wait. She turned, and the vulnerability in his eyes nearly broke her. I know what I am, he said quietly. I know the damage I've caused. But when I'm with you, I feel like maybe I could be someone different. Someone better. You can't use me to fix yourself, Daniel. I'm not. I'm asking you to believe that change is possible. She pulled her hand free, her heart aching. I want to. But I've spent my whole life learning that people don't change. They just become more of what they already are. She walked back into the chaos of the wedding, leaving him alone on the terrace. 3 days later, Olivia sat in her small apartment, staring at her phone. Daniel had texted twice. She hadn't responded. The knock on her door was unexpected. When she opened it, Victoria stood there, immaculate in a white blazer and dark jeans. Her red hair was pulled back, revealing a face that was beautiful and calculating in equal measure. We need to talk, Victoria said. Olivia's first instinct was to slam the door. Instead, she stepped aside. Victoria entered, her eyes scanning the modest space. Cozy. What do you want? Victoria turned, her expression unreadable. To warn you. About Daniel. I think I already know everything I need to. Do you? Victoria's smile was cold. Did he tell you why he really destroyed my company? He said it was a hostile takeover. That's partially true. Victoria sat on the couch uninvited. What he didn't tell you is that I had no idea about the takeover. My father orchestrated it without my knowledge. When I found out, I went to Daniel immediately. I begged him to let me handle it, to give me time to stop my father. Olivia's stomach twisted. He looked me in the eye and promised he would wait, Victoria continued. That same night, he executed the entire operation. By morning, everything was gone. My father's legacy. My career. My trust fund. Everything. Why are you telling me this? Victoria's eyes hardened. Because I see the way he looks at you. The same way he looked at me. And I need you to understand something. Daniel Sterling doesn't love people. He collects them. And when they stop being useful, he discards them. You came all the way here to tell me that? No. Victoria stood, walking to the window. I came to offer you a deal. What kind of deal? Victoria turned, and something dangerous flickered in her eyes. Help me destroy him. The way he destroyed me. Olivia's breath caught. I'm not interested in revenge. Even after what he did to James's father? Even knowing he'll do it again to someone else? That's not my decision to make. Victoria studied her for a long moment. You're falling for him, aren't you? Even knowing what he is. Olivia didn't answer. Then you're a fool. Victoria moved toward the door. But when he breaks you, and he will, remember this conversation. Remember that I offered you a way out. She left, and Olivia stood alone in her apartment, her mind spinning. Her phone buzzed. Daniel's name appeared on the screen. Can we talk? Please. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. Every logical part of her screamed to delete the message, to block his number, to protect herself the way she always had. Instead, she typed, "Where?" The restaurant was small, tucked away in a quiet neighborhood. Daniel sat at a corner table, and when he saw her, relief flooded his face. You came. I almost didn't. Olivia sat across from him. Victoria visited you. It wasn't a question. How did you know? Because I know her. Daniel's jaw tightened. What did she say? That you promised to wait. That you lied. He didn't deny it. The silence stretched between them. Is it true? Olivia asked. Yes. The single word hit harder than any explanation could have. Why? Daniel looked down at his hands. Because I was terrified. Her father was ruthless. If I'd given him time, he would have found another angle, another weakness. I convinced myself that striking first was survival. But the truth is, I was just afraid. And I made Victoria pay for my fear. James's father too. Yes. His voice was barely audible. And countless others. I built an empire on fear and broken promises. Then why should I believe anything you say to me? He looked up, and the pain in his eyes was raw. Because for the first time in my life, I'm more afraid of losing you than I am of being vulnerable. And that terrifies me more than any business deal ever could. Olivia's heart hammered. Daniel, I can't be your redemption. I can't fix you. I'm not asking you to. I'm asking for a chance to fix myself. With you beside me, not behind me. What does that even mean? He reached into his jacket and pulled out a folder, sliding it across the table. What is this? Documents transferring control of my company to a board of directors. Financial compensation packages for every person or family my business practices harmed. Starting with Victoria's father's estate and James's father's creditors. Olivia stared at the papers, stunned. This is your entire empire. It's blood money. All of it. Daniel, you can't just give away everything you've built. I can. And I will. His voice was steady. Not because I think it erases what I've done. It doesn't. But because continuing to profit from other people's pain makes me complicit in it. Tears burned Olivia's eyes. This is insane. Probably. A ghost of a smile touched his lips. But you made me realize something. I spent my whole life building walls to protect myself. And all I did was trap myself inside them. She looked at him, at the man who had everything and was willing to lose it all. What happens after this? She whispered. I don't know. Maybe I start over. Maybe I fail. But at least I'll fail as someone I can live with. Olivia reached across the table, her hand covering his. I'm scared, she admitted. So am I. What if we destroy each other? What if we don't? The question hung in the air between them, full of possibility and danger in equal measure. 2 months passed. Daniel signed the papers. The business world reacted with shock, then skepticism, then grudging respect. Compensation was distributed. Apologies were made, though some doors remained closed forever. Olivia watched him navigate it all with a quiet strength she hadn't expected. He was different. Lighter somehow, despite losing everything he'd spent a lifetime building. They spent their days in her apartment, cooking meals neither of them was good at making, talking until sunrise, learning to be vulnerable without armor. But not everyone was convinced. Victoria's second visit came on a Wednesday evening. This time, she didn't knock. She had a key, one Daniel had forgotten to ask for back 3 years ago. Olivia was alone when Victoria entered. He gave it all away, Victoria said without preamble. Everything. I know. Do you? Victoria's eyes were sharp. Do you know what it cost him? What it cost me? What are you talking about? Victoria pulled out her phone, showing Olivia a series of financial documents. The compensation he paid my father's estate. It came with conditions. Olivia's blood went cold. What conditions? That I sign a non-disclosure agreement. That I never speak publicly about what happened. That I essentially absolve him of guilt in exchange for money. That's not true. Daniel wouldn't do that. Wouldn't he? Victoria's smile was bitter. Ask him. Ask him if the NDAs exist. Ask him if he bought my silence. Get out. I'm trying to help you. No, you're trying to manipulate me. The same way you're manipulating this situation. Victoria's expression hardened. You really have fallen for him. Poor thing. You actually believe he's changed. After Victoria left, Olivia sat in the growing darkness, her mind racing. She didn't want to believe it. But doubt, once planted, grew like poison. When Daniel arrived an hour later, she was waiting. Did you include NDAs in the compensation agreements? He froze in the doorway. Victoria was here. Answer the question. Daniel's face went pale. Yes. The word shattered something inside her. Olivia, let me explain. Explain what? That you're still protecting yourself? That all of this was just another business transaction? No. He moved toward her, desperate. The NDAs weren't my idea. My lawyers insisted. They said without them, I'd be vulnerable to lawsuits for years. I was trying to make things right, but I couldn't destroy myself completely in the process. So you bought their silence. I gave them what they were owed. The NDA was just paperwork. Just paperwork? Olivia's voice rose. You gave them money and made sure they could never tell their side of the story. That's not redemption, Daniel. That's damage control. You're right. His voice cracked. You're absolutely right. And I hate that I did it. But I was terrified. Terrified of losing everything, including you. So I compromised. And I was wrong. Tears streamed down Olivia's face. I defended you. I believed you were different. And you're still playing the same games. I'm not. I swear I'm not. Then why didn't you tell me about the NDAs? He had no answer. That's what I thought. She moved to the door, opening it. Leave. Olivia, please. Leave, Daniel. He looked at her, broken and lost, then walked out. The door closed behind him with a soft click that sounded like an ending. Olivia didn't hear from Daniel for a week. She told herself it was for the best. That she'd dodged a bullet. That people like him never really changed. But at night, alone in her bed, she couldn't stop thinking about the look in his eyes when he'd left. The raw devastation. the truth she'd seen there. On the 8th day, James called. "You need to come to the hospital. It's Daniel." Her heart stopped. "What happened?" "Car accident. He's stable, but he's asking for you." She was in her car before James finished the sentence. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and fear. James met her in the waiting room, his face drawn. "How bad is it?" "Broken ribs, concussion, lacerations. He'll recover." "What happened?" James hesitated. He was driving to see his lawyers. "About the NDAs." Olivia's breath caught. "What about them?" "He was having them voided. All of them." He was going to release a public statement, admitting everything he'd done, giving everyone he'd hurt the right to tell their stories without legal consequence. The world tilted. "He didn't tell you?" James asked gently. "No. He was planning to. After it was done. He said he didn't want you to think it was just for show. That he wanted to prove through action, not words." Tears blurred Olivia's vision. "Can I see him?" James nodded toward a room down the hall. Daniel looked small in the hospital bed, bruises blooming across his face, his arm in a cast. But when he saw her, his eyes lit up. "You came." She moved to his bedside, her hand finding his uninjured one. "You idiot. You absolute idiot. I know. You could have died. I know. Why didn't you tell me what you were doing?" He squeezed her hand weakly. "Because I needed to do it for the right reasons. Not to win you back. Not to prove something. But because it was right." Olivia's tears fell freely now. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't trust you. You had every reason not to." "No, I didn't. I knew who you were. I knew you were trying. And I let Victoria manipulate me because it was easier than being vulnerable. Easier than risking my heart. Olivia. I pushed Marcus away because I was terrified of being left. And I almost did the same thing to you. I'm just as broken as you are." Daniel's thumb traced circles on her palm. "Then maybe we can be broken together." She leaned down, pressing her forehead to his. "I love you. God help me, I love you. I love you too." His voice was rough with emotion. "And I'm going to spend the rest of my life proving that I'm worth that love. You already have." She kissed him then, gentle and careful, tasting salt and antiseptic and something that felt like hope. But outside the hospital room, in the shadows of the hallway, Victoria stood watching through the window. Her phone was in her hand, recording everything. And her smile was cold as ice. The video went viral within hours. Victoria had edited it carefully. Daniel's confession about the NDAs. Olivia's accusations. Their reconciliation in the hospital. But Victoria added her own narration, twisting every moment into something sinister. "Watch a billionaire manipulate his latest victim," the caption read. "Daniel Sterling stages an accident to win back the woman he's using for his redemption tour. This is what abusers do. They make you believe they've changed." By morning, the internet had declared Daniel a monster and Olivia his naive accomplice. News vans camped outside her apartment. Her phone exploded with messages, some supportive, most vicious. Death threats filled her inbox. Strangers on the street recognized her, their faces twisted with judgment. Daniel, still recovering in the hospital, saw the video from his bed. His lawyers called immediately. "We can sue for defamation. We can destroy her." "No," Daniel said quietly. "She's ruining you. Again. She's hurting. And I caused that hurt. I won't add to it." His lawyer sighed. "What do you want to do?" "Nothing. Let it run its course. Daniel, this will destroy everything you've been trying to build." Then let it destroy me. I deserve it. Olivia found Victoria at a coffee shop 3 days later. Victoria looked up, unsurprised. Come to yell at me? Olivia sat across from her. No. I came to understand. Victoria's expression flickered. Understand what? Why you hate him so much. I should think that's obvious. It's more than what he did to your company. More than the money or the betrayal. Victoria's jaw tightened. He made you believe in something, Olivia continued softly. He made you believe that someone could choose you, truly choose you, over power and money and success. And then he proved that belief was a lie. He shattered the one thing you'd let yourself hope for. Victoria's eyes glistened. Don't. I'm not trying to excuse what he did. What he did to you was unforgivable. But destroying him won't fix what's broken inside you. It won't bring back what you lost. You don't know anything about me. I know what it's like to be terrified of hope. To build walls so high that nothing can hurt you, but nothing can reach you either. Olivia leaned forward. And I know that what you're doing to us, you're really doing to yourself. You're proving that everyone is as cruel as you've been treated. But that's not true. He'll hurt you, Victoria whispered. Eventually, he'll hurt you. Maybe. Or maybe we'll hurt each other and find a way through it. But that's our choice to make, not yours. Victoria looked away, her composure cracking. I loved him. God, I loved him so much. And he looked me in the eye and lied. I know. And I'm sorry. You deserved better. So why are you defending him? I'm not defending what he did. I'm defending what he's trying to become. There's a difference. Victoria was silent for a long moment. Then she pulled out her phone and deleted the video. Right there, in front of Olivia. This doesn't make us even, Victoria said. I know. And it doesn't mean I forgive him. I know that too. Victoria stood, gathering her things. For what it's worth, I hope you're right about him. I hope he doesn't break you the way he broke me. Thank you. As Victoria walked away, Olivia felt something shift. Not closure, exactly. But the beginning of it. Daniel was released from the hospital 2 days later. The media storm had subsided, replaced by new scandals and fresh outrage. The internet moved on, as it always did. Olivia was waiting when he came home to her apartment. Their apartment now, though neither had officially said it. The video's gone, he said. I know. I talked to Victoria. He stopped. You what? I asked her why. And I listened. Really listened. Daniel sat heavily on the couch, wincing at his still healing ribs. What did she say? That she loved you. That you broke something in her she doesn't know how to fix. His eyes closed. I did. I know. And you're going to have to live with that. Not everyone you hurt will forgive you. Not everyone should. I know. Olivia sat beside him, taking his hand. But here's what I believe. I believe that people can change. Not perfectly. Not all at once. But in small ways, every day, if they choose to. And I believe that you're choosing to. What if I mess up again? What if I hurt you? Then we'll deal with it. Together. But I'm not going to punish you for crimes you haven't committed yet. And I'm not going to let my fear of being hurt stop me from loving you. Daniel looked at her, wonder in his eyes. How are you so brave? I'm not. I'm terrified. She smiled through tears. But I'm more terrified of living a safe, small life than I am of taking this risk with you. He pulled her close, careful of his injuries, and kissed her forehead. I don't deserve you. Probably not. But you're stuck with me anyway. They sat in silence, the evening light painting gold across the walls. Outside, the city hummed with its endless motion. But inside, in that small apartment with its second-hand furniture and cracked ceiling, two broken people held each other and chose hope. 6 months later, Daniel opened a nonprofit. Not in his name, but in the names of everyone he'd hurt. It funded small businesses, provided interest-free loans, and offered legal support to entrepreneurs destroyed by predatory practices. He worked there every day, not as the CEO, but as a consultant. Learning humility one client at a time. Olivia watched him transform, not into someone perfect, but into someone genuine. And slowly, she learned to trust. Not blindly, but consciously. Choosing belief over fear, one day at a time. They didn't have a fairy tale ending. They had arguments. Setbacks. Days when old wounds reopened. But they also had breakfast in bed and midnight conversations and the steady certainty that comes from choosing someone, truly choosing them, every single day. One evening, as they walked through the city where they'd met, Daniel stopped. "What?" Olivia asked. "I'm happy," he said, wonder in his voice. "For the first time in my life, I'm actually happy." She smiled, squeezing his hand. "Me too. Even though I'm broke and rebuilding and probably going to struggle forever. Especially because of that. Because it means you're real. And real is what I've always needed." He kissed her then, right there on the crowded sidewalk, while strangers passed and the city lights blazed and the world kept turning. They had no guarantees. No promises of forever. Just this moment, and the choice to keep choosing each other. And somehow, that was enough. The end.